Hey everybody out there. My name's Amy. This is my book, Cold Kiss. You guys asked me lots of great questions. I'm going to try to answer them while figuring out how to do this and to look at the camera. The fact that I'm getting this thing to work at all is pretty miraculous in my eyes, so be patient with me. Some of the questions you guys asked were, how did I get the idea for Cold Kiss? And I've talked about this before. Writing friends were talking about where do you go after vampires and zombies and all of that. And somebody kind of jokingly said zombies. Now, I love zombies. Dawn of the Dead, the remake, is like a comfort movie for me. But you know, flesh-eating zombies that are going to kill you is a different book than what I wanted to write. And honestly, I think works better as a movie anyway. So I had the idea of somebody bringing somebody back to life. Because those are a kind of zombie too. They're the kind of voodoo zombie where somebody will bring a loved one or an enemy back to life and kind of make a slave of them. That's not exactly what happens in Cold Kiss, but that was kind of the zombie I was going with. I think what I haven't talked about is the fact that what really resonated for me was the idea that this is somebody who's grieving, somebody who's died, that she loves so much, and she's trying to figure out how to make that pain go away. And like I said, what I haven't really talked about is the fact that my mom was diagnosed with lupus when I was a kid, and she's had some pretty close calls. So a lot of my life I've been dealing with kind of the specter of death or loss or grief, and that's one of the things, obviously, that Ren is dealing with. But by the end of the book, she's also learning how to let go. So that was something that made the book a lot more powerful for me as I was writing it. Other questions. Is Cold Kiss a standalone? It is. I think you can certainly read it and put it down and walk away and be mostly satisfied. There is going to be a second book. My editor actually has it now. And it will be more about Ren and more about Gabriel. And you're going to learn some of the things that were left hanging loose at the end of Cold Kiss. But I think that's it for Ren and Gabriel. I think at the end of the second book, everybody's going to be pretty happy with where they are and where they're going to go and be able to imagine that on their own. I don't think I'm allowed to tell you the title yet, or I would, but it'll come out next fall. So if you liked Cold Kiss, you can find out more about Ren, and hopefully you'll like that too. Did I shed any tears while I was writing it? I actually did get a little choked up and a little misty. I was kind of surprised because that doesn't really happen to me, or hasn't happened to me in the past. But there is a scene very close to the end of the book that while I was writing it, I did get really kind of emotional, and reading it over, I actually had to kind of wipe a tear away. So that's a favorite scene of mine, obviously. And like I said, that had never happened before, so I was pretty proud of myself for that. What else did you guys ask? Best book I've ever read. I don't think there's one answer to that. I mean, usually I think it's whatever book I'm reading and loving at the time. But I also think you kind of need categories, and I could never just pick one anyway. It would have to be at least a top 5, like Desert Island List. And there are a couple, kind of all-time favorites that I know would go on that list. But for now, I'll say the best books I've read recently, or at least some of them, are 13 Reasons Why, which absolutely blew me away. Melissa Marr's fairy books, because I loved the way it was a series, but it was dealing with different people in each book, and then it would come back to some of the ones from the first book, and it was this whole world that she created, and really just gritty enough and real enough, but overlaid with this fantastical fairy world, was just fascinating for me. I really enjoyed those. And the other one, Joe Hill's Heart-Shaped Box, which if you like to be scared, if you like horror, it's remarkable. And don't read it alone, by yourself in the dark at night. But yeah, I mean, that one absolutely stunned me. It was really, really good. And I think what I liked about it too is that it is horror, but the characterization and the journey that the characters go on is pretty universal in terms of what they're feeling and what they learn about themselves, even through this horrific situation. So, and Joe Hill is Stephen King's son, so he kind of comes by his talent, honestly. Another question. 3 things I can't live without. Okay, I'm going to say we're just going to assume that family and friends are a given, because for me they are. So let's just not include them in this equation. I think the first thing would probably be tea, because I can't live without tea. I'm not a coffee drinker, although I've kind of learned to drink lattes recently, and I hear there's espresso in them or whatever, but for me it's tea. Hot, iced, whatever it is, I'm drinking it all day long for the most part. Second thing would be books, which maybe that's a given too, but especially for a writer, but I don't know. I mean, maybe some people would say TV. I think if I had to pick one thing, it would be books, because they're portable, you take them anywhere, and there's just a million different stories. I mean, I've been reading, obviously since I was a child, and I generally don't go anywhere without a book, because if I'm bored, if I'm restless, nervous, whatever it is, or just can't wait to get back to the story, a book is there to take you wherever you want to go. I think the third thing would be music. I can't imagine living my life without music. I listen to music all the time. I have playlists for a million different things. I have, a million CDs, give or take a few. I used to have a lot of albums too. I know nobody knows what they are anymore, but music is another way, I think, to go somewhere, depending on your mood, depending on what kind of mood you want to be in. There's music for any of it and all of it. So those would be my 3 things, I think, today, off the top of my head. Another day, chocolate might have snuck in there, but or cake, because I have very strong feelings about cake. But for now, those are my 3. The other thing you guys asked was, if Cold Kiss was a movie, who would I cast? And that is a really hard question, because I feel like I would know Ren if I saw her, but I've never seen her in a movie or a TV show yet. Like, I don't think the person who would play Ren best is a working actress right now. She would be little, she would be kind of dark, she would be stubborn, all of which you know if you've read the book, but I just don't see anybody out there who I think is around right now, which would mean an enormous casting call, and that would be a lot of fun. Not that I would have anything to do with it, but Gabriel, I've said before, is definitely like the love child, the teenage love child of Jude Law and Paul Bettany. So you'd have to kind of imagine that. Danny, in kind of temperament and stuff, was modeled after the character of Dean on Gilmore Girls. Not so much looks-wise, but kind of, and I think Danny is a little goofier. But there's definitely some of that there. I think if you ever watched the TV show of 10 Things I Hate About You, the boy character, wow, now I can't remember his name, but the one that Heath Ledger played in the movie, his real name is Ethan Peck. I think that's who I would cast for Danny. And he's really the only one that I can think of, a specific person. But, you know, I'm not a casting director, so more's the pity. But anyway, I hope this wasn't incredibly stupid. Oh, I meant to show you this. Cold Kiss tattoos, which I'm going to have on tour with me and at a local signing I'm doing. They don't say Cold Kiss, but it's a blue lip print, so I'm hoping you kind of get the idea. I think they're adorable. My daughter's been wearing them. She's 7. She thinks they're awesome. Other than that, thank you for having me. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for watching this. Now I'm just going to hope that I've saved the video correctly and sent it off the way it's supposed to go. So thank you. Thank you for reading Cold Kiss, and enjoy.